I'm waiting for my coffee.
You're waiting for your coffee. So you're drinking some other brown liquid. Okay. All right. So anybody want to take a guess on where we're up to?
I'm not. Do we need Zoom today or no?
I haven't heard anybody asking for it, so.
Teenage.
Or I'm numb.
I'm numb. Nom nom nom. Why does it sound like nom 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 nom?
It's gonna be one of those three typically. So yeah, you guys are definitely heading in the right direction.
I can't wait for years from now when someone's like watching all these videos to learn and they just are getting all of this garbage.
All the fun stuff. That's right. Like Jody's breakfast drink recipe.
Let's just get started, okay?
No, we can't get started until you figure out what we're up to. So first you have to figure out what we're up to.
No good.
No good?
Up to no good.
Up to no good?
She's
really? Is there not a single person who knows what we're up to? This is terrible.
I'm numb.
I'm numb.
It all sounds familiar.
Nom nom nom. What page, y'all?
98. Give them one.
Yeah, it's 98. 98.
Okay.
All right. 98 it is. We're up to Daled.
Okay.
It said bomb numb.
Yes.
It says bomb numb.
It is.
It does say
yes,
bomb
it is. All right. So, let's recap a little bit. So what we said was that judgment works. Just stop before you hit me, all right? Hold on. Buckle up. Buckle up.
I don't get run over in the street. I get run over sitting in a chair.
Yep.
That's right.
Thank you.
So, what we said last week is that there are different eras in which reward and punishment is given, and nothing goes without a reckoning. Everything has its consequence, good or bad, and the system for that is based on a majority system. So if the majority of a person's actions, thoughts, and words are good, then they will be slated to go to the world to come, and they need to have their sins taken care of. That takes place in this world. Then there's the other group in which the majority are bad deeds, and when that happens, the good deeds are paid for in this world, leaving nothing for the world to come. Okay, so that was the basic system that we described last week. Okay, is that good? All right, so now Ramchal gets into some very important additions to that system. In addition, Hashem also decreed through His kindness to increase the salvation, meaning the opportunity for making it to the world to come for people. And there should be another form, another option for purifying the soul. For those for whom it is appropriate to have purification. Tahainu, and this is somebody within whom the bad became very strong, and really the majority of a person's focus in life was not for good things. But it wasn't that much so that his judgment would be to be entirely destroyed. So this is somebody who's majority bad, but not so bad that they're beyond redemption. Okay? So v'hu klal anshim. And this is the idea of punishments. Shahayaser Rashum Mahem, that the most prominent of the system of punishments is Hadin Begehenim. It is the judgment that takes place in Gehenna. V'hakavana by, and the thinking, the rationale for this is lahanish ha'chayte kifi chatav, to punish the sinner based on his sins. It's going to be funny when he drives away and takes them with him. To the point that after the punishment takes place, to the point where there's nothing left, there's no sin left after the punishment. So basically, what we're saying here is that Hashem created a system of Gehenna, which is going to be a purifying of the soul that takes place in a way that once it's done, the sins will no longer be present within that soul. The yuchal achar ken lekabel hagmul ha'amiti, and thereby he will be able to subsequently obtain, I should say, his reward in the world to come, based on the good deeds that he did do. So v'nimtza, it comes out, that through this, ha'ayivdim mamish, those who are completely destroyed, yiyu mizar, loy kabir, are going to be very limited, not many at all, very limited few. Kihine la yiyu ella aisom shegaver behem hara, because it will only be for those for whom the bad was so powerful, shir kol kach gadol, so much so, she after she matalahem makam b'shum panim, that there is no possible way to find them at all. Liyas nishar b'gmul hamiti v'anah hanitzchis, that they should have any reason to have any goodness in the world to come for a lasting reward. So what he just did was he took an issue that we kind of left hanging last week and clarified it with a very simple response. The question was, does the original system that we talked about last week said that anybody who was 51% bad is gone. That's it. They get their reward in this world, and then they're done. They have nothing left in the world to come, which seemed very ominous. So here what he's saying is that Hashem did not leave it at that. Hashem incorporated a system of purification which would allow for those who are in that range of not being purely bad, but still having some good deeds, but a lot of bad, that there is a system now that they can be purified and thereby be left with a portion in the world to come. And that is Gehenna. This is what people call purgatory, hell, whatever you want to call it. But the idea is that the soul is purified, and in doing so, it's left with a clean slate. Okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you just said a portion of the world to come. So there's varying levels of access?
Yes, and we're about to talk about that. Yeah, hold up. But yes, everyone will have their specific portion. Everyone gets their part. Yeah, we'll see. We'll get there shortly. This week even. Okay. All right. So, all right. Soon.
Are we at Behine?
We, one of them. Okay. Okay, so let's just make sure that it's very important to understand the system that's in play over here. We're talking about how Hashem's kindness has created this system. And what that means is that in the original plan, the original system that we had, anybody who was less than 50% good was done forever. This system allowed for probably, I'm going to throw a number out there, I'm going to say 98% of those people to not be stuck with that destiny. And they will actually be able to earn their portion in the world to come, even though they were majority bad in their lifetimes. And the source of that is pure kindness. Now, that's hard to understand because, on the surface of it, we wouldn't think of something as painful as Gehenna as being an act of kindness. But at the same time, you have to think of it, in terms of medical procedures, right? If somebody's going to die if they don't get an amputation, the amputation is an act of kindness because it's giving the person potentially many years of life, and there's no greater kindness than giving somebody more years of life, even though it's done in a painful way, but it's certainly better than the alternative. So we have to look at Gehenna that way. We have to realize that it is a kindness which doesn't really fit into the system of justice the way it was described. The logical system of justice would mandate that anybody who is not 50% good or better is done. Is out. They get their reward in this world and that's it. But Hashem's kindness kind of overrode that and said, no, we're going to give another chance, we're going to give another option, and we're going to allow for more opportunity for salvation, for purification, than what the system would have otherwise logically have done, have allowed for, I should say. Okay, this makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now, there is an issue here that many of the commentaries discuss, and that is that when you're dealing with Gehenna, you're dealing with a world of souls. You're not dealing with a world of body and soul. So the question is, how does it make sense that the neshama itself is going through a purification without the body? Because as we know, the body is culpable for that which takes place. The body is responsible for what the soul does wrong. So the body's not being purified. How does this all work? So there's a couple of different explanations, but I'll read to you what it says here, quoting Das Tvunos, which is another work of Ramchal, the same author. He says, by being clothed in the body, the soul retains some of this external covering, for better or for worse, when it leaves the body. Thus, a person who has committed many transgressions leaves a corruptive impact on his soul as well as on his body. So, what that's saying is that the connection between the body and soul isn't completely severed upon death, and what the impacts that were made on the soul because of the body will be purified through Gehenna. That's how Gehenna is going to work. It's going to take care of the things or the elements, the degree of staining, of blemish, whatever we want to call it, of shortcoming that was affecting the soul. That will be cleansed in Gehenna. Now the body itself, as we learn, is going to go through its own form of decay, and that will be the purification of the body, which will allow it to be recreated in a way that the now newly purified soul will be able to uplift it and affect it. The body goes through its own separate purification process in the grave as it decays.
That's not Gehenna.
That's not Gehenna. So the body goes through its purification there. The soul goes through its purification up there. And what happens is, as we learned way back when, the body is then regenerated, recreated, and that's in a now purified state, which is allowing it to be reinfused with this higher level, clean, pure neshama, which will then be able to raise that body up to even higher heights. Okay? It's all good here? All makes sense? Nobody's listening?
No,
So-
actually,
Exactly.
So the part of the
Guys, I didn't do grades yet. Yes.
So the body punishment and the grave.
Yeah.
Is that sort of having to do with the soul looking at it
No.
rotting? And
No. Mm-mm. No, because at that point the body and soul are being dealt with separately. The neshama is getting what it needs done up there. The body is getting what it needs done down here. And then with the resurrection, they're able to hook back up.
So what does the body healing look like?
Decay. Yep. I mean, would you like me to
So-
describe that?
all right. So I have a question though. So if we're talking about so when people get cremated. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm doing it. So obviously their body does not go through any sort of purification at that point. Their soul still does though, correct?
Well, you just made two assumptions.
Yes.
The second of which I will agree with. The soul definitely goes through purification.
Okay.
To say that the body does not, I'm not ready to say that.
Okay. Also, I don't know if this happened for anybody else when we were talking about the souls that like don't the ones that are like 51% evil, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The image, and y'all have seen The Little Mermaid, right? Okay. Okay. So
The
there's
new
a
one or
scene,
the old
no,
one?
No, 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 the old one. The old one. There's a scene where like Ursula, she has this like garden of like souls that she's stolen, and they're all like shriveled and gross, and that's what my mind went to immediately when you said that. I don't know if anybody else did. That's just where I'm at today.
Lilo and Stitch badness level.
Yes.
When he's filling in how
Right.
bad he is on
Right.
the coloring sheet.
Yes. Very bad.
Teachers.
Yep.
Teachers.
It's that's where my brain is today. Okay.
Little Mermaid.
Cool. Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Poor unfortunate souls, right? And they're just like all
I had only
sitting there in a
brothers.
garden, just
You weren't into
You weren't into Little Mermaid?
okay.
Not gonna say what.
Moving on. Sorry.
Good idea.
Okay.
I'll watch that movie.
Okay. Okay, let's continue on. Okay. V'hinei.
Where does it talk about the good?
That's the question in the commentaries on
Oh.
the Derech Hashem. Yeah, it's not going to be in that
I'm like
one.
reading it. I read it like 5 times. And I don't see anywhere.
Put your glasses on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I had it on first,
Squinting, he's
so I tried it without the
squinting.
glasses.
And
Maybe
still didn't
somewhere
find it?
it's going on there.
Herbie, would you show him where it is, please? No, it's there are I have like 4 different versions of this at home, so they all have
Yeah.
different commentaries on them.
So
So
this is one of the
try to pull it all together.
commentaries.
Yeah. Okay. This particular one, if anybody wants to do it on their own, this particular one I highly recommend because A, it's in English, and B, because he's very good at bringing in where Ramchal writes something about the same topic in one of his other works. So you know that that's where he's going anyway, so that's always
Wouldn't that be cheating
a
though?
good. How do you figure?
Because we're supposed to be coming to class to learn it from you. So why would
Correct.
we said if anybody wants to go through it on your own, why
Yeah.
would we do that?
After.
When you can do it for us.
After. Not before. Reading ahead is very illegal. Absolutely.
Jail.
I'm gonna lose my paycheck. All right. V'hinei. Nimtza hadin mischalik l'shosh chalagim. So it comes out that din, judgment, is split up into 3 sections, 3 parts. Ki ikra yehu la'olam sha'achar hatchiyah k'may shezacharnu. The main part, the main reward and punishment, the main system of consequence is in the world to come after, I shouldn't say the world to come, in the world after the resurrection. So once the bodies and souls have been reunited, the bodies have been resurrected, recreated, the souls are purified, at that point, that's when the main reward is slated. That's when it's going to happen. However, there are going to be certain actions that need to be taken care of and dealt with prior to that point. There will be some of those that will be paid for in this world. And some will be paid for in the world of the souls. So basically, that is referring to, there are some things, meaning the people who are more righteous than not, they will have their bad deeds dealt with in this world, meaning they'll have their hardships or difficulties in this world, and that will cleanse them of their little bit of bad that they've done in this world. And there are those who are actually beyond the 50% mark on the bad side, and they, although they haven't made it all the way to the bad side, they're still, close. They will have to have their bad deeds taken care of in the world of the souls, meaning in Gehenna, at which point the soul can be purified through the fires of Gehenna. Okay? Good? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
But eventually they leave.
And they will be able to leave. Right, that's a purification
Yeah.
process.
Okay.
Right, yeah, no one's there forever. Okay.
The length of time is dependent upon.
The length of time is dependent on the degree of purification necessary. The maximum time is 12 months. That's the maximum amount of time. Now, how time works in the world of souls, I'm
Oh, that's scary
Yeah.
not
thought.
even
Yeah.
going to try to talk about that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
as far as how it relates to us, it's 12 months is the maximum.
Yes.
Does it relate to Kaddish anymore?
Yes. The reason we say Kaddish is to alleviate that process, and the reason we only say it for 11 months instead of 12 is because we don't want to make it look like somebody needed the maximum sentence. So we cut them a little bit of slack. We only do it for 11.
You know they
Suppose
need
somebody,
it.
yes, exactly. Somebody really would.
We never know. We never know. As the Ramchal continues and says, Achein, however, Mishpatei hadin hazeh b'pratav einenu noida. Ki in l'shovetu amiti levadai. The details of how this system of judgment works and all the nuances and exactly how all of it needs to happen, only Hashem can do that. It's not for us to think that we can decide that we know what somebody deserves and what kind of punishment or how long or any of that. That's not our place. Ki hu hayodeya amitis mitzias samaisim until this end, because only Hashem knows the true reality of the results of the actions that a person has done and all the subsequent products of those results and the results of those products and the products of the results and on and on and on. V'chol b'chinaseim prateim, and all the different ways that they come out, all the different details of them. V'yedeya ma mehem ra'i sheyigalu b'zman echad u'b'derech echad, and he knows which things need to be dealt with at a certain time in a certain way in a certain place. U'ma b'zman acher b'derech acher, and which things need to be dealt with at a different time in a different place. So only Hashem is able to calculate all of that to know exactly how it is appropriate to deal with all of the various punishments, consequences, rewards, with the different options that we've mentioned. But as far as what we know, it's just the system that this works with. That we know. You said that's what's it based on. What does it revolve around? And this is what we've explained. Because the point of the whole system of consequence, is to gather the group of the perfected ones, that they will be appropriately established forever, in connection with Hashem. In order that this should play out properly, all of the steps until that point were necessary. So all the different things that we mentioned about this world and the world to come, and the world of the souls, and the punishment, and the 50-50s, and this direction, that direction, and how our free will affects all the other things, all of that whole system, which we can't even grasp, that's all necessary in order for this to happen, in order to have that final goal of the souls that deserve this permanent connection to Hashem and their everlasting reward, which, remember, was the original purpose of creation. The purpose of creation was because Hashem wanted to give, and therefore He created beings to give to, and He created a system through which they can earn that which they are given, so that way it's much better than simply being given without having earned it, and this is how it all works. All right?
Mhm.
So that's it. We're all pretty much God at this point. Pretty much know how it all works. No?
No.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know, there's a lot left.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is.
What?
There's a few years left of.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you got about a 33% chance of getting it right with the Vahine.
Well, every time you say Vahina, I think of
Oh.
L'chaim. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you're
a
gonna be
drinking game
stoned.
now.
Drink every time.
You're gonna be
Oh.
stoned.
Wait, I didn't know we were playing a game.
We will now.
Oh. Like
All right.
bingo all over again.
You ready? Vahine. Chaim.
There were drinking games happening at bingo. I don't know if anybody was aware.
This drinking game.
There were drinking games. At
V'hine
bingo.
kishetamik oid be'inyan. If you delve deeper into this idea, Tira, you will see shemalvad hayois inyan zen nimshach al pi hamishpat radin k'vash zacharnu. In addition to the way the system works based on the way we've explained it until now, hine hu miyusad oid al pi hametzias hanivra. This is also based on how the world itself works. Meaning, vizeh, this means, kine kvar be'arnu, because we've already explained, shahamasim ha'toivim